Florida Gators are on an absolute heater, fellas. 6 commits in the last 48 hours. Billy, scared money don't make money. Napier is rolling the dice down in Gainesville, and things are coming up all Gators right now. 6 commitments that are not nobodies. They're not all 5 stars, but I think there's only one 3-star in that mix. So it's 5 blue chip prospects. What's your temperature on the Gators going in? There's a lot of, questions about how they're going to perform on the field. Is Graham Mertz the guy? Is their defense going to stand up to a tough SEC schedule? But Napier, despite the rumors that he's on the hot seat, he's recruiting his butt off right now.
Yeah, currently the third ranked 2024 class. He's certainly getting the new coach bump at Florida that you usually see at programs as coaches are entering their second year at that stop. So the future looks really bright if Napier is able to stay around and if he's able to earn the right to stay around, because I'm really concerned about the here and now for Florida. And I love how Josh Pate put this weekend as kind of this heater was developing. Even Florida's own fans go back and forth between calling him Sunbelt Billy and 4-star Billy, right?
Yeah.
Like they cannot pick a lane with how they feel about Billy Napier. And not just Florida, but the SEC in general is known for its fickle fan bases. It's a very win now or else league. And I'm concerned looking at their over under for this year. I think it's set at what, 5? Over under squarely at 5. So Vegas expects them to miss a bowl game this year after having a really lackluster introductory season. That's not going to go over well with the faithful. Now, a number 3 recruiting class, if he can hold on to it, that can buy you a lot of good grace. That can buy you some time for the future. But yeah, I mean, he's certainly selling the future. He's certainly selling playing time. They have a lot to be excited about in the future, but I just don't know that Billy Napier is going to be around to get to see the fruits of his labor.
Well, and it makes sense that they would be so up and down because, he's kind of had an up and down tenure so far, right? There was some hype around the program, and then obviously this last season didn't go very well for them. Obviously, they got the recruiting momentum right now, but those kids are going to be the ones walking into that death schedule that we've talked about.
Yeah.
that their freshman year is going to be, wait, what's our off game? Do we have an off game? and they're going to have to kind of weather that storm, and doesn't matter how good your freshman class is, they're still going to be freshmen, and they're still going to play like freshmen at times. And when you have to play a crazy difficult schedule, that's not going to make your life easier. That's not going to make it easier to transition to the college game. That's assuming that in this new era of college football that they don't have either a mass exodus, which could happen if this year doesn't go very well, right? You can see a lot of guys leaving the program because they feel like maybe this class is too good coming in. They're going to take your spot. This isn't even a very good team anyways. I don't care. Or it could go the total other way. Like if they win a few games they maybe shouldn't, maybe find a way to snag a game against, like a Tennessee, or maybe upset Georgia or something like that. That could go a long way in getting people's attention in the portal. And maybe next year we're talking about, yeah, it's a crazy schedule, but look who they got to transfer over. Oh my gosh, they got this quarterback and this star wide receiver and this big time defensive end or whatever. That they could be doing that in a year. And modern college football, it's hard to tell where a team's going to be. The one thing for sure is they need to win now, because if they don't win now, Napier is going to be on the hot seat because, again, like you said, Trey, it's just a weird environment in the SEC. You have a couple bad seasons, and all of a sudden your program is ready to turn on you. They're ready to flip you. In Florida, especially, I feel like they turn on their coaches real quick. It feels like you have a couple of bad seasons in a row, and you don't say the right thing at a press conference, and all of a sudden you're looking for a new job. So it'll be interesting to see where this one goes. But you'd much rather be in the situation you are now, where you've got such a good recruiting class coming in, as opposed to, well, we're looking at maybe winning 5 games this year, and we don't have a good recruiting class coming in for that insane 2024 season.
It's hard to blame Gators fans totally, because as apathetic as Dan Mullen was towards the stretch end of that, I mean, like literally just forgoing recruiting, um, and not really seeming to care if that they were getting blown out to end that season. I can understand kind of the sentiment that, hey, this should be an elite program. We've won national championships. We've been at the top. Why aren't we still there? Um, you talked about the death schedule of 2024. We talked about that in our last episode, Trey. If you didn't hear that, maybe after this one, head on over to YouTube. We've got a segment, a video clip specifically dedicated to that if you don't want to listen to the full podcast. 2024 is going to be brutal. There's not a single stretch where it's like, all right, here's where we make our hay, here's where we get our momentum. The 2023 schedule isn't that. There are certainly going to be very winnable games. I'm looking at road games against Kentucky. Obviously, they've got McNeese, Charlotte early in September, Vanderbilt to start October, and their homecoming game. But then down the stretch, they open with Utah. They play Tennessee in week 3. And then their stretch run, their last 6 games, the back half of that season, at South Carolina versus Georgia in the cocktail game, versus Arkansas, at LSU, at Missouri. I don't think that's going to be an easy place to play. They didn't beat them last year, and versus Florida State. So that over-under of 5 seems like it could be pretty accurate.
That stretch right there sounds like 2 wins max.
So you're gonna need Graham Mertz to be the guy. You're gonna need him to be the guy. He hadn't shown us that ability other than that, a glimpse here and there at Wisconsin. He's gonna have to turn it on and keep that switch turned on if Florida is gonna win a bunch of games. A great recruiting class certainly helps, but at the end of the day, you're paying this guy to get results on the field, not rack up recruiting stars, on the 247 message board. So let us know what you think about Florida, if they're for real, if that recruiting class is going to hold. Certainly one of the best heaters of all time when it comes to recruiting.
Gracious him. How about that?